Hello, my name's Adam Ford. I am the Democratic candidate for the Senate in District 11, which is Riverton, Bluffdale, and about 3/4 of Draper, and then Highland Alpine and about 3/4 of Lehigh. I'm excited to be a candidate. I'm excited because we need a strong two-party system in this state. Competition is good. Republicans believe in the free market, and so do I, and we need to have a marketplace of ideas in this state more than we've had in the past. You know, I decided to run for this office because the Republicans in the state legislature, I believe, are out of touch. They are not responsive to the voices of the people any longer. For example, in the last legislative session, with a $1 billion budget surplus, Governor Huntsman, who is a Republican, of course, asked the legislature to spend $2 million to fund dental and vision coverage for Medicaid patients, disabled Utahns like my sister Amy, who has Down syndrome. Instead of spending that $2 million, the legislature, Republican dominated and controlled, instead decided to build a parking garage at the state capitol for themselves. $15 million for a parking garage. They couldn't spare $2 million for dental and vision coverage for disabled Utahns. That's not just bad policy, that's morally wrong. Now, some of them made that decision because they were having a political fight with the governor. Others made that decision out of principle. My opponent, Howard Stevenson, claims that it was principle that caused him to cast that vote. He doesn't believe that government should be involved in providing a social safety net. He truly believes, along the hardcore conservative lines, that government should only be involved in protecting life, liberty, and property, police force, military, and nothing else. He doesn't believe there's any place in government for the compassion of Medicaid, Baby Your Baby, or WIC. I think that's crazy. That's why I'm running as a Democrat. You see, I'm a lifelong Republican. My dad was a delegate to Ronald Reagan's nominating conventions in 1980 and 1984. I was a hardcore Republican through high school. But I looked at the state legislature recently and I decided that that's not the picture of Zion that I have in my mind. Decisions like the Medicare decision aren't bringing us closer to Zion. They're pushing us farther away. Now, the Republicans have dominated Utah politics for over 20 years. And it's the nature and disposition of almost all those in power to seek to maximize and extend their power. They do this by operating in the dark and in the shadows, to make deals behind closed doors and to not allow themselves to be open for public scrutiny. My opponent, Howard Stevenson, is a registered lobbyist. That's right, he gets paid by corporations to lobby for them to lower their taxes. He's the president of a group called the Utah Taxpayers Association. And they shift the tax burden off of corporations, large landholding corporations primarily like Questar and Pacific Corp, and move the tax burden over onto the citizens. For example, the extension of tracks that was being done up into Davis County and down into Draper and eventually Utah County, that was originally slated to be a property tax funding base. Now, Howard Stevenson and his corporate buddies made sure that that got switched around so that now it's a sales tax funding base. That means instead of Kennecott and Union Pacific and these big corporations having to pay higher taxes on their large land holdings, you and I are going to pay for that every time we go buy milk and bread. It's those type of decisions that made me decide to run. We need balance in this state. We need more even-handedness by our legislators. You know, Howard Stevenson's disclosure form that he files with the Senate, it's available on the Senate website, says he has a conflict of interest with all bills that have to do with taxes, fees, appropriation, which means spending, or anything else his employer, the Utah Taxpayers Association, takes a stand on. Those type of conflicts are allowed under Utah law. I think we need a complete reformation of our laws in this state regarding ethics and lobbying. We need to have cleaner government that's more responsive to the people. Until we have a vigorous and strong two-party system, that won't happen. That's why I'm running for office as a Democrat. My ideals and beliefs haven't changed. I'm firmly committed to the moral principles of the gospel as I understand it. But we need more representation on the other side of the aisle. Our political system isn't healthy. With your help, we can change that. Thank you very much.